that when you look at the Ashab of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, how did they define being rich? And this is going back to the topic of yesterday. How we define being wealthy and rich and how we can be content in our lives. How did they define it? The Ashab of Rasool Allah, the Ashab of Amir Al Mominin. I'll give you examples of two of the companions of Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib, the greatest companions. One of them is Salman al-Farisi. Salman al-Farisi was so great and so close to Ahlul Bayt, such that Rasulullah said about him, Salmanun minna Ahlul Bayt. Salman is one of us, Ahlul Bayt. That's how close he was. That was his iman, that was his wisdom and knowledge. Salman al-Farisi, in one beautiful hadith, he says that after Rasulullah died, I was traveling, so I came across a tribe from the Jews, a group of Jews. They told me, come and sit with us, Salman, and tell us a story from Rasulullah, a hadith, something you heard from Rasulullah. So he told them, okay, I'll read you a hadith from Rasulullah. The hadith is from Allah. So Salman, from Rasulullah, from Allah. He says, one day I heard Rasulullah say that Allah tells us, His ibad, His creation, this. What does He say? He says, He says, oh my creation, isn't it that when you want something from someone that is prestigious, someone that is important in the society, in your community, and your relationship isn't too strong with that person, what do? If you want something from that person, you seek an intermediary. You go to the people that are close to that important person and you ask through them. Because if you ask directly, he may reject you. But if you ask the people that are close to him, he's not going to reject you, correct? That's why many times I want to ask, for example, my father. I'm afraid he may reject me. I go through my mother, correct? Because my father supposedly loves my mother, inshallah. So based on this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, this is how you human beings are. And Allah Azza wa Jal says, this is exactly how I am. If you have a hajah from me and your relationship isn't so strong with me, then don't come directly. Go through the intermediaries. Go through the people that I love. Who are the people that Allah loves? The hadith itself says, go through Muhammad and Ali and Fatima and Hassan and Hussein. Because even if you don't deserve what you're asking for, I will give it to you for my love of them. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. What a beautiful hadith. Salman tells this hadith to the Jews of his time. So the Jews, look at what they tell him. They start mocking him. They tell him, oh Salman, if you have Ahlul Bayt, and all you have to do is ask Ahlul Bayt, and Allah will give you, why didn't you ask Ahlul Bayt, Rasulullah, Ali, and all the other ones? Why didn't you ask them to ask Allah to make you the richest person in Medina? SubhanAllah. You see, that's all we think about. Everything is in monetary terms. It's money. You want to be happy? More money. This is what we think, and that's how they thought before. So why didn't you ask Ahlul Bayt to make you the richest person in Medina? But look at Salman. The answer of Salman. He tells you how he perceives being wealthy and rich. He tells them being the richest person in Medina. He says, I have asked something from Allah that is much greater than being the richest person of Medina, and Allah has given me that through the love of Ahlul Bayt. What did he ask? He says, I asked Allah for 3 things and He gave me those 3 things. What are they? He says, سَأَلْتُهُ لِسَانًا ذَاكِرًا. I asked him, Ya Allah, for your love of Ahlul Bayt, I want you to give me the tawfiq that I have a tongue, a mouth that's always remembering you. You think this is easy? That I have the tawfiq, the honor, that all the time I am mentioning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All the time, when I wake up, before I sleep, during the day, I'm eating, I want to do anything, I'm at work. He says, I ask Allah for a tongue that always thanks Him. Number 2, وَسَأَلْتُهُ أَنْ يَهَبَ لِي بِهِمْ قَلْبًا لِآلَائِهِ شَاكِرًا. I asked Him to give me a heart that appreciates the ni'am of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is our entire topic tonight and last night. How do we appreciate? Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give you the qana'ah, to give you the contentment. I asked Allah to give me qana'ah, to give me that appreciation, and Allah has given me that. And number 3, وَبَدَنًا صَابِرًا. I ask Allah to give me a body that is patient, because sometimes life will be difficult, won't it? Sometimes we're going to have problems in our lives, but we have to be patient. So I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give me patience. And Allah has given me all those three things. And thus Salman, based on these three things, he considered himself the wealthiest person, the richest person in the world. Rasulullah tells him, you are from us Ahlul Bayt, because you understand that money isn't everything. You shouldn't pursue it. It will not bring you happiness, as I mentioned yesterday. There are things that are much greater than wealth and money. This is one example.